Hello, patrons.
Hey,
Welcome
how's it
to our
going?
special unsinkable episode of Titanic-related media.
You're here, there's nothing I fear.
Just historical inaccuracies that are in a movie that we're going to discuss right
Some
now.
are unforgivable.
This is
Woo!
brilliant. This is brilliant that we're covering this because we watch a lot of movies and we love poking ish with cinematic history.
So, for those that don't know, I have talked about my dark dramaturgical past on this podcast before, but a big job of a dramaturg is making sure you don't make these kinds of mistakes, and to let your writer and your director and everybody know, like, hey, no one did X, Y, and Z on the Titanic. But in the case of the Titanic, it would seem that James Cameron kind of just did whatevs, even though he knew what was accurate and inaccurate.
Yes, he was willing to make a lot of sacrifices for the cinematic history when it came to like the paint on the walls and the furniture.
Weird focus.
Brilliant.
Nailed the
100% accurate.
staircase, apparently. Nailed it perfectly.
Nailed
Right?
it. Nailed it.
But yeah, so I found like a good list because they all like float around in my head, but I was like, I need somebody to have put this in order for me. And
You
so
need one to sink to the bottom. Yeah.
Horrible. The first really egregious one is there actually wasn't any lifeboat discrimination. And that's a huge plot point in the movie.
It is.
Yeah. And they never would have, one of the scariest parts in the movie is when they lock everybody downstairs and they're like, nope, sorry, we have to wait till all the richy riches get on the boats until you're allowed to get on the boats. That didn't happen. That wasn't a thing. That's not what the gates were for. One thing I read said like the gates were actually in case of like an outbreak of some kind. Like so people got really, really sick and you would have to segregate them. Yeah.
Which the poors would have had.
Yeah, steerage. So yeah,
that's a good one.
That's a big one. Yeah,
that is a big one. And I heard a story. Now this is like the Legends of Titanic, where there was a Japanese survivor who like got on a lifeboat and was like shamed because he didn't like go down with the ship. Like talk about like terrible Asian racism. Like, oh, you brought dishonor to the family. Like,
dishonor. Yeah, I've never heard that one, but
probably bullshit.
Who the fuck knows? There's so many bullshit stories around Titanic. Probably the worst one and the one that he gets the most shit for, and it is one of the worst parts in the movie, is First Officer Murdoch did not first shoot at anyone, including himself.
Right.
And
how did he die?
I mean, what's known of him is he was actually quite heroic on the Titanic and saved a lot of lives and got a lot of people on the boats. He probably went down with the ship.
Yeah.
I don't think he made it out at all.
Right. Died at his post, saving people, helping
people. And so I came across this insane quote from James Cameron where he says he does have regrets about the way he had him portrayed in the film, and says, I was being a screenwriter. I wasn't thinking about being a historian. And I think wasn't as sensitive about the fact that his family, his survivors, might feel offended by that. And they were.
And they should have been. I mean, he has these shootouts, multiple shootings, not just the one.
Can you
where you
imagine?
You have Cal's cop coming after you. I mean, it's like the Wild Wild West up in there with the guns.
Yeah, not only does we could argue he accidentally shoots Tom. He's the one who shoots Tommy, I think. And then he shoots himself. Yeah. Right. But also he's been taking bribes. So he's a horrible person.
Despicable.
Yeah, versus like a hero and a decent guy from the accounts that I've read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also don't like how the movie omits a lot of other heroic characters, like the Marconi room guys who are telegraphing.
Yeah, so
Like they,
talk about that, because
yeah,
there's a lot of things that get left out of the movie.
yeah, they get like a second of footage, you know, and they were instrumental in getting the word out about the Titanic. Arguably, the Carpathia wouldn't have come if these guys hadn't telegraphed out.
Yeah.
There's, you know, a lot. I think you know, Smith is kind of like a statue in the movie. He is really one dimensional, and maybe the historical record doesn't give us a lot. I love Bernard Hill. I love him in that
Yeah.
movie. People drag that. I love him. I think he's amazing.
He's a
Um,
little,
he is a stone. He's a stone. He is a monument. He is a walking statue. He's like, I'm going to die on this ship.
he's got a
I'm
lot of
going
yellow in his mustache, and that makes me crazy. I
the
always
tobacco.
joked, oh my God.
The,
No, I
the
was like, was he eating
tobacco
corn
mustache drives
chowder?
me nuts. Oh yeah, I thought it was just all smoking. I hate it.
Corn chowder, smoking. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well,
I don't know what he does in his off time.
yeah, there's not enough smoking in the Titanic at all. We got a
No,
couple of cigarette puffs. Not enough. Not
no,
nearly
there
enough.
was smoky as fuck on the
That shit
Titanic.
would have been freaking foggy as hell.
Oh God.
Um,